Okay, and we are live. So, hello, my name is Sandy. I am one half of WordStitch, and welcome today to our fourth NaNoWriMo session. You may notice that the other half of WordStitch, my WordStitch partner, Chloe Alice Balkin, is sort of here in spirit right now. So that's her cat on screen. Chloe is going to be joining us in just a couple of minutes, but she got caught up with some work that she had to get done. So she's almost here, but it's just me with you for the first 5 minutes, which is probably a good thing, right? Because nobody needs to hear just one person talking at them for 5 minutes. But if you're here, we're excited about it. If you're not familiar with what we do at WordStitch, this is a virtual write-in, and basically we're going to do 4 timed word sprints. So our first one is just coming up at 4:05. So get your Scrivener, or your Google Docs, or whatever you write with up right now, because we're going to start that right on time. Between sessions, we ramble a little bit, Chloe and I do, and we talk about various things that we think are helpful to you completing Nano. If this is your first time watching a video, you have kind of caught us on a strange day, because we have some technical difficulties here and there, even though we're pretty good with the schedule. But you may notice that my voice sounds like it is, what's the word for it? Vibrating. This is because I've got a little bit of a cold, so apologies. Hopefully you can still hear me okay. Good news is most of this time we're going to be writing. And probably you're working on your Nano project. So if you are like Chloe, then at this point, you're done with Nano. You've already won it. I think she won yesterday. She's at like 70,000 words or something. If you are like me, you might be struggling a little bit more. So I hit some major writer's block this week. Like some just incredible, why won't this scene work? So I thought that today, since I get to control what we start with, I would do stuff that helped me and that hopefully helps you deal with your writer's block. And to that end, I have some prompts for you that I'm hoping will help you kind of think through any blocks that you're having. And I thought that I would start us off with just a little bit of a resource here. So I'm not always a huge fan of like how to write books, but this particular one, this is Stephen James' Story Trumps Structure. Stephen James writes thrillers, if you're not familiar with him, but he also does some phenomenal writing workshops. And the reason I think that his stuff is really good is because he really helps you think about what a reader would want. So to help me today, I flipped open his book to a couple of pages, and the first thing I flipped to was something that I thought would be helpful for all of us. So let's suppose that you are stuck like I am. So here's one thing that you can think about. In your story, you always want to give readers what they want or something better. So this is some advice from Stephen James' Story Trumps Structure. And in order to do that, so in order to give readers what they want or something better, Stephen James suggests asking 4 questions. 1, what are readers wondering about right now? 2, what are readers worried about right now? 3, what are readers hoping for? And 4, what are they expecting? All right, so I'm going to let you mull that over a little bit, and I also have a prompt for you, and I'm going to mull it over. I think sometimes we forget that, like when we get sort of to a writer's block stage, a lot of times what's happening is we're trying to force a story, and instead of thinking about like what the reader would care about right now, we're thinking about what we care about. So there's a little writing therapy for you for today. Now let's, since it is 4:05, let's get straight into our first word sprint. If you need an additional prompt, here's one for you. Your main character wants to tell you something they've never told anyone before. It's a secret they've been keeping for years. What is it? And with that being said, we are going to get started. We've got 10 minutes on the clock, and you can start writing now. Okay, now we are back, and I'm just gonna leave my screen up there for a second. Chloe should be calling in, so we should be able to get her online in just a couple minutes here. If you are joining us, let us know how you did. For me, that was 239 words, which is more than I've been able to do like all day. So at least for me, these prompts are working. I hope that they're working for you too if you're stuck. And I do think that, let's see if Chloe is here. All right. So and let's see if anybody. Okay, so let us know how you did if you are joining us. I do think that like Nano is a particular mental challenge, because in your normal writing life, when you get stuck, you can go to a different project, or you can totally scrap a project, right, and feel totally fine about it. At any point. Or maybe not totally fine, but at any point you can drop something. You can say, I need to do different research on this. You can decide there's some like cause for why you haven't been able to get everything done that you want to get done. But in Nano, there's this sort of like artificial pressure that we put on ourselves to get the particular project that we started at the very beginning of the Nano season done. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, sometimes that pressure itself is enough to create some decent writer's block. And I also find that it's at those times that I revert back to my worst habits. So like, let's suppose that, I don't know, today I was struggling a little bit. Oh, let's get Chloe in here. Hello, Chloe.
Hello.
I was just talking about writer's block struggles, but how are you?
I'm doing mad dash to get home, but I am here.
All right.
And I'm scarfing down a sandwich, but I'm pausing that for the moment. Also, I have no idea how my camera angle is because it's not showing on my screen. Do you have video for me?
I have video for you. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is my camera okay? Because for some reason I don't have it.
You're like a little low, like your chin is cut off, but you're that made you lower.
Oh, whoops.
Go the other direction.
I don't know what up and down is.
And yeah, that made it way worse.
Whoa, that was not what I meant to do. Sorry, guys. You guys remember how we were out of town last week? I never set up my equipment afterward until this exact moment. Did I just like go right back to where I was initially?
You made it a little tiny bit worse. Now your whole mouth is cut off.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. That's decent. That's okay. We can live with that. All right. So,
hello, everybody.
This is totally par for the course.
Yeah.
We have some people who've joined us. 87 is respectable. That is totally fair. And yeah, I agree. I think sometimes it feels like if you have to do it, then you don't want to do it. That's what I was talking about before you joined us, Chloe. So okay. I've been having just like major writer's block, and I think it's that like Nano sort of like, I don't know, almost, it is really seriously almost like now it's an obligation. It's no longer fun, which is crazy because in real life it's an obligation. And
right.
and yet I'm so I've been suggesting that like perhaps if anybody else is in this situation, that maybe this is the time to kind of go back to like, are you telling the story or are your characters telling the story? Like, are you forcing it? Are you plotting it? Or are you like letting it breathe organically? And I think that's my problem. I don't think I've been letting that story breathe.
That you're using right now.
What?
I love all these buzzwords that you're using right now.
Oh, I pulled out a whole like resource guide, okay? Because this is how desperate I was.
Doubled up right now. I apologize. There we go. Okay.
So okay, so
the camera is still terrible. What are you talking about?
What?
My camera is still terrible.
It was worse when you tried to fix it.
Oh my
Just like
God.
you with the camera, all the obsession over the camera.
I
So
mean,
there you go.
insane. Okay, hi.
Okay, so Chloe, what do you do? Do you ever have writer's block? Does that happen to you? Ever?
I consider it more writer's ennui.
Okay.
Writer's stalemate. I don't know that I ever, like, not anymore. I wouldn't say that I really get writer's block where like I just don't know where I'm going. Um but I do still, this last week, what's our writers retreat was over, my numbers were terrible until yesterday. I had like 4 days of really low numbers, and I mean,
Me
low for
too.
me. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna I'm not gonna tell you what those are because people are gonna be mad at what I consider low. But certainly, like, I did not meet my goals. And I do think, I don't know, I kind of feel like it's just like when you hit that part of the story and it happens to be about the same place, for most people in Nano, or, you've got that issue where some people just can't keep up with that pace, which is totally fine. But I feel like if you are not able to write that basically 2,000 a day and you try to force yourself to, you're going to end up hating it.
So this is a big struggle that I have also is that sense of like, so I don't want to waste 2 hours writing 2,000 words that I'm never going to use. Now, if you're listening, so for the record, when I first started doing this, I was totally willing to write 2,000 words of anything. And I think that's really important for a new writer, right? Because like sometimes it's just hard to learn like your voice. But then there's a point where like I think you kind of know your voice and you also know when you're writing trash.
Yes.
I'm there. Like that's where I've been. So this is a struggle. We're gonna try to pick it up, but it's been rough.
Yeah.
I told them, by the way, that you had already won Nano. So
Oh yeah.
congratulations.
I've not to be that guy or anything, but I have written an entire novel.
And by
Uh,
entire novel, she means like a 70,000 word, not like a 50,000 word
Yeah.
thing.
And like
No.
a beginning, middle, and end. That if you read it right now, you'd be irritated with the pacing, but it would be a logical story.
Ah, I mean,
Yeah.
we're generally jealous and irritated, just as writers, but it's okay. We're gonna forgive you because it's motivating. Um, so what are you working on today then? Are you editing?
I'm editing, yeah.
Whoa, wow.
Yeah.
All right. So in that
Yeah,
case,
it's either that or like do the cover, but I don't feel like doing the cover. And I feel like with my last project, I kind of dragged ass a bit getting to the editing on it, and then the editing went fine. So I feel like I should be more proactive this time around.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Um, so in that case, I'm not going to feel guilty about having taken over the word prompts with like kind of
Please do,
corny
because
stuff.
I'm editing, not writing.
Excellent. All right. So, okay. So if you're with us, then so we did like a main character prompt, for the first word prompt, and for my second word prompt, I'm actually going to put the screen up right now so I know what it is that I gave us. So if you got the timer, Chloe, go for it. So
Yes. Also,
this,
the video on my end is lagging. So people listening, if the audio is also lagging, you can kind of suffer through bouncing video. But if the audio is also being really screwy, please let us know and we will
at least
tinker.
apologize for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you can understand our apology.
Yeah, yeah.
And I am almost there, I swear.
Okay. So our prompt is your villain is motivated by something no one would ever have expected. It almost makes us sympathize with the villain. What is it?
You should always sympathize with the villain.
But you should almost sympathize with the villain, you
Yeah.
know? Almost.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. We have that timer up and it is time. So you guys can go ahead and start now.
Okay, we are back.
God. Hello.
Oh boy. Okay, so if you just tuned in, Chloe is editing because she's a nano rock star. I am writing because I don't know what way to put that. I'm
A
behind.
normie. You're a normie.
I'm a normie, yeah. And for me, that was 571 words, which this is, I think, evidence of the whole writer's block thing for a 25-minute thing. That feels low for me. But listen, if you're with me and you're getting a few hundred words in, then we're all doing better than we were before, right? So that's what we're here for. So we did not pick topics out for this time, did we?
No, because I was at work all day.
Yeah, yeah. So we should
A
pick
weird
a
day for
a
me.
topic. Um, all right. So here's a question for you, Chloe. Have you ever gone to one of those evening of writing wildly events?
As Atlanta ML for 3 years, I hosted them.
You hosted them.
Yeah.
So I bet that some of the people watching have events like that might be kind of coming up.
Yeah.
Do you so what do you think of those? Like, what are those like? Tell us about those.
So everyone that we did in Atlanta was different. We
Interesting.
couldn't get the same venue. Oh my God, this cat. Sorry, this cat was screaming to come in, and then she like had to get in my lap, and then she was like, I'm not comfortable anywhere in your lap. Anyway, so they are, I don't know, they're a good time. You go and you write and you meet people. And you probably have some food. There's probably like a potluck or something going on. Um, but you get a lot of words done. Normally it's pretty well organized. Depending on who's doing it, there like might be a guest speaker or something at it. I definitely recommend going to them. And they are fundraisers, so I mean, I feel like most of them are now. Um, but yeah, I like them.
So I'm always wondering if those things are like worth the time. I've been to one or two, and I some years have gotten words written, and then some years I felt like it was a little too much sugar and a little too few words.
I guess it's also who's hosting
Oh
it.
yeah, for sure.
And how, so being that I was Atlanta, Atlanta always had several MLs, so I feel like there was always somebody, aka me, and then before me it would have been Matt Kinsey, who was good at reining everything in and forcing the words to happen. For some people, for the two of us, we want it to be like 90% writing, and that's not what it's going to be
Yeah.
because you got to like meet the difference of the people who,
Are
are
there to make friends? Yeah.
there to make friends.
Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like if you get one sprint an hour, that's a decent length, like a 20, 25 minutes, 30-minute sprint, then you're doing pretty good at it.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's fair. I've always had aspirations of going to the event out. I think it's in San Francisco at like the Nano
Big
headquarters.
one. Yeah. Then the
Yeah.
NOWD, Night of Rating Dangerously. Yeah.
Yes, yes, because that always looks like pretty snazzy in the pictures and such.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been that far west. And I don't know if I would go particularly for that. But you know what they do have out there, if we're just gonna go on a slight ramble. Part of that is they also do that like the big train thing. There's that train that goes up the West Coast, and I'm sure that you or somebody else listening has like some better concept of what this is than I do. But I feel like it's a train that runs from like LA to San Fran or like maybe even further north. So some people will go into town, go into LA a few days early and do that big train ride up the coast. That's supposed to be just like, a phenomenal view. I wish I could remember the name of it. But anyway, so it's kind of like it turns it into basically a writer's retreat. And that sort of thing would interest me, but there's not anything too much like that on the East Coast.
That would be amazing. Like a whole
Mm-hmm.
little like road trip writers thing.
Yeah, I've looked into it, and it's extremely expensive on the East Coast. So,
You
yeah.
know, my husband and I do these like car rally things with our like really super old car. And I tried to, so he's been trying to talk me into creating one in North Carolina. Like, and I keep being like, well, listen, if you want me to do this, then like all my friends are creatives. So we're going to have to incorporate creative stuff. Like it'll have to be like a writer rally thing, you know? Like we drive a little bit, stop at a cafe
Yeah.
and write for an hour, and then we can drive a little bit more, but he's not on board yet. So
It is important to stress the fact that I drive like, a Honda.
yeah, but I think that I think it could be pulled off. But honestly, though, yeah, like just even a train, like you're totally right. Like the idea of doing, I don't
I
know,
don't
it's
want to be
very.
driving. I want to be sitting and writing
Oh yeah,
wherever
yeah,
that
yeah.
could be. And if I am in something that is moving and I can sit and write, that's fantastic. I just realized that that's probably a nightmare for people who get motion sick.
It
I don't know if
is.
you get motion sick on trains or not though, because I'm not
Yeah,
someone who gets motion sick. But
I am, and indeed, you can get sick on a train.
okay. So
Yeah,
that's an issue then.
yeah, yeah,
I just
yeah.
I just put like a gigantic plot hole in this actual real life thing.
I don't know. No, but that's why in my fantasy writer retreat rally thing, we stop at the cafes, right? Because I can only there's like
Yeah.
only one thing I can do when I drive, and it's like sing badly to whatever songs I'm.
Oh, I'm great at that too. Is
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a major talent. But no, you know what else would be cool is like a writer cruise. That would be awesome.
Oh, I think that's also like a motion sick territory though.
I think it's different. I think you like adjust to the cruise. Like you sort of like I don't know. I've never been on a cruise because I've always been afraid of getting motion sick. But I feel like
Yeah,
it would be a thing
just
I would
naturally, yeah.
sacrifice.
Yeah. This was a really weird ramble that we went on, guys. I'm sorry.
No,
I
this
did.
this was a writer
Um,
fantasy. We're encouraging
yeah, oh, that's
creativity.
true. I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that like what we did last week was pretty much the ideal, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It
Sit
was
at a cabin and then occasionally go to like the Dunkin' Donuts and
yeah.
try. Or that like cafe was real cute.
If it
We just
had been
first, yeah.
if it had been like slightly warmer, we could have like added in a walk or so in the afternoon.
I feel like it just needed to be a slightly longer trip.
Yeah, yeah, maybe that too. So okay, so if you're watching, we know the ideal way to write a retreat now. It's not on a cruise
Yeah.
ship. It's
Yeah,
not on
yeah.
a
It's really
train.
not moving. It's stationary and then like having coffee shops within like 10 minutes.
Stationary,
Yeah.
mountains, coffee shops, bingo.
Yeah.
You're all good. All right. Let's get back to work, guys. Okay, so we have we have a word spread, our 30K coming up. So let's see. What did I do for this for the prompt? Okay, so my prompt for this is your main character is faced with a dilemma and they make the wrong choice. Why
Oh,
did they make that choice?
I don't write stuff like that enough, and I really should. I feel like my characters are not fallible enough, so I appreciate that one.
I need it right now. I need to make myself
All right.
I need to make my characters do some more interesting things.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. And I was early, but
that's okay. This is our timing. You would think that we would like spartan up and just get a clock that has seconds on it.
what?
We will never be that smart.
No, probably never ever
Yeah.
actually. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna go ahead and start this timer,
Do
and we will
it.
see you guys at half past the hour.
Okay. Okay, we are back.
Yes.
Yes. So that was 525 words for me for the 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Is,
But it's 500 words you didn't have before.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna keep telling myself. That is the thing. Yeah. So let's pick a different topic to talk about, and let us know where you are. Hopefully, you guys are all doing like so much better than Sandy is, and if you're not, then hopefully this encourages you to keep going. See, like this is what a writer looks like when they're stuck, and I'm not going to quit. It's just going to suck for like a few weeks here. So Chloe, we should pick a writing topic to talk about, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should have planned this in advance. I didn't realize that I was supposed to work till 4:00 today, so that was where all of this chaos came from today. So you've been talking about how to get past writer's block, but you haven't actually gotten past writer's block to say with any measure of success that you were successful. Just accept that like the phrasing was working in my brain, and then I realized that it was never going to work how I wanted it to. Anyways, so
yeah, it's true. I've not been successful yet.
So Sandy, have you tried jumping ahead slightly? Because that's always my go-to.
That's
Doing that like summarizing and moving forward.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, actually. But I have that sensation of like I don't even know if this is gonna fit later. This is very weird. This is strange writer's block for me. I have not experienced this for like months. And it makes you feel uncomfortable inside, right? Like it's sort of like an itchy, like how come I can't do this?
Yeah.
Kind of feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I think probably I don't know these characters well enough yet, and that is part of the problem. Like, you know how sometimes your characters just breathe right for you and sometimes they don't?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is neither of my main characters are cooperating. Like I thought I knew them really well because this is a sequel book, right? So like,
you've already written them once, so you should have known what they were going to be this time.
Yeah. And yet I don't know. Like they're currently having like a little heart-to-heart talk. I don't feel like either of them are talking in their own voices. I feel like they're talking in my voice. It's very, very weird.
So can you just like plow through this and deal with it and production, so to speak?
Yeah.
Because like I've got all kinds of weird issues. I don't know. I have definitely found that for me, by the time I get to the end of what I'm writing, there's a lot of stuff in the beginning that turns out not to be correct.
Yeah.
My characters were one thing, and then they turned out to be another. And I try not to let that weigh me down too much. If there's something where like it's a major continuity issue, then I may go back in the middle and address it. But usually I just kind of keep a little log of things that just I know are going to end up being wrong. And instead of like driving myself crazy, stressing about what's going to be wrong, I get the story finished because it's a lot easier for me to fix things and edit than it is to fix them as I'm trying to write the damn thing, especially because if I'm halfway through the story, it's still not set in stone. So something that I could decide at, 20,000 words might end up also being wrong. So I try to get it all finished and then worry about my little glitches, the characters that are not sounding right. I worry about that in editing.
Yeah, but your editing is super clean editing. Have you seen the nightmare that is mine?
No.
You couldn't. It'd be bad. This is probably partially like a little panic over that issue, right? Because you write chronologically, And so like generally speaking, you end a story and yeah, sure, maybe there's like a couple little things you got to go back and fix. There's like a scene or something missing, like maybe one scene or two, like
three whole scenes.
That's
right
a lot. Or
Yeah.
like, you know, every now and then a character does something slightly weird. You got to change a date. You got to fix a name or something. Okay, no.
Clara cried way more than I meant for her to cry.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
like that's
I gotta stop her crying.
that's like third pass editing for me.
Gotcha.
If I don't, now I will say like some of the stuff that I've done this year, when I write in first person, I can write clean like that. But I'm not writing in first person right now. I'm writing in third person. And so like there's this narration issue that comes out, and the narration changes everything for me, changes the pacing, like changes how the characters act. And then I end up with like ugly scenes. So we're not talking about like, we're not talking 3 scenes or something. We're talking like, if I don't get this right, like I'm going to be rewriting the whole story. It will be a Chloe nightmare. Like Chloe would have just tossed this and like started over kind of nightmare.
That's fair.
Yeah. Which is perhaps what I should do. I mean,
no, you got to figure out what you need to do to set it right and keep going down that path.
I don't know. I think that starting it completely
Do you think
over.
you've gone off the rails on it? Has your plot gone off track? Is your plot on track, or is it no?
I don't think my plot has ever really started well enough. Like, I don't think there's something wrong with it. There's a fundamental thing happening, and it's wrong.
This might seem like a weird suggestion,
I'll take it.
What would happen if instead of your story starting where it starts, what if it started where you are now?
Well, that would be interesting.
I just said sometimes your story needs to start at a different place than where you had it starting. And if the entire story seems like it's gone off the rails, then maybe you need to just like start it. Maybe like where you started it was so early in a time frame that you just need to like jump way ahead of that.
Maybe. I might be way overcomplicating things too. Yeah. This tends to happen to me. Like, I'm trying to put like a whole demon war in here. Like, I really just need to like give her like 3 or 4 little crises, and then like.
You know what's funny is I'm also trying to like actually make my demon war work, even though there's only like a half a scene, mostly where they're like swapping Yelp reviews in the middle of a demon war. So I also have a demon war issue right now.
I should go back to basics. That is, by the way, so if you're watching, this tends to be my biggest problem. Like, I will overcomplicate a plot so much I totally lose it. Like, I literally lose the plot.
Yeah.
It is probably what's happening right now.
Which is funny because you use beat sheets, and I feel like that's kind of
that's like the point. Yeah.
Part of beat sheets is that they're supposed to prevent that from happening.
They are, but like like this so like for example, so this will give you a sense of like just how badly this is going. So like my meet cute, which is supposed to be in the very first section, has gone all wrong. Like, I've tried to write it like 3 or 4 times.
I am going to go back to my initial statement of okay, so just putting it out there, you know that a good percentage of romance begins at the meet cute, or like the meet cute is the first 2 chapters.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where you need to start at.
Yeah. We're seeing the problem here, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm so early.
The meet cute was supposed to be in the first part, I was like, no. It has to be.
I'm aware of that.
Now, they are meeting 4 scenes in on mine, and I actually have to just consolidate the first 4 scenes into 2 scenes so that that's not the situation.
Yeah, no, I think I'm
like 3 scenes where they have not met yet, and I'm like, this is completely wrong.
I have like 4 scenes where I could have them meeting, and every time I write it, it's bad. I have, and, okay, so if you're watching, I'm writing angels. I have the angel saves her from a car accident. The angel saves her from a psychic. The angel saves her from her landlord with a knife. And then finally, the one I think is golden, but which is not working out, the angel saves her from Mexican food. It's just
okay.
Do you see the problem?
Yeah. Yes, I do. I apologize for that really harsh sound to anybody who is listening. So a little bit about the romance genre.
Yeah. Help. Because I'm not the only person. I can't be, right? There have to be other people struggling with this meet cute.
There can be a bit of them crossing. Listen to me using like fancy sounding words. It's actually just crossing. They could be like crossing paths a couple times beforehand. Maybe being like the "ooh, who's that girl" thing. But they cannot be like seriously intertwined on 3 separate occasions before they actually meet each other. And those 3 separate occasions absolutely cannot be written out.
Yeah.
It's got to be, they have to meet unless you literally have this written that the first time so-and-so saw so-and-so, this happened. The second time this happened. The third time this happened, and he finally revealed himself. And that literally is in like, 2 pages.
So my biggest problem with this is they met in book 1. This is book 2. So like, okay, so my meet cute has to be them getting to know each other. Like I envision the meet cute as the first time that she learns his name, but this means that he's like with her, right? See, there's these things. Yeah. There's these things. I've way overcomplicated it. Oh my gosh! Yeah. I hope I'm not panicking anybody else.
Yeah.
If I am,
so if they've already
rewind this, don't pay attention.
If they've already met in the previous book,
yeah,
you absolutely have to have them having their big kickoff at the beginning of it. Like, there is no way around that.
I know, right? So like the very first thing they
and you know this now because you've been reading that awful trashy romance series with me.
Oh yeah, no, I downloaded book 5 just earlier today because I was so depressed with my own. Yeah.
Did you finish book 4? I'm sorry, I'm derailing slightly. Did you finish book 4?
I did. I did.
It was not the most ridiculous thing you've ever read.
I loved it.
That's fair. 5 is a lot better, although you might disagree with me because we disagreed on 4. So you need to have. So I guess the best way to say it is that your introduction to these characters before they are actually like coming together, that needs to be like them coming together needs to be like the climax of the first
act.
No, not the first act, but like it's got to be something where like nothing before that is extra. There are no extra scenes. What is happening is literally the direct lead up to them meeting. Like whether it is that, like it's pretty much got to be that day. Unless there is some other plot going on, but you don't have like, if it's like a composite cast where like, a bunch of people are in play and you've got different scenes going on. But for those 2 main characters, which I'm pretty sure that your stories are just those 2 main characters, what happens in the first scene has to directly drive them together.
I'm gonna think about this. I'm not gonna distract. See, look now. See, we've distracted at least one person here. Wait, I apologize.
Did I make a mess of somebody's thing?
No, that was totally me.
Okay.
Stick. Great Fry says, I haven't written a romance, but shiny new idea syndrome has me wanting to scrap my fantasy to write a fluffy rom-com. I apologize.
At least get your fantasy, you should at least finish it if you can in Nano, or like get this Nano out of the way. Or
don't let me lead you astray. It's a terrible idea.
Or at least get it to like a good stopping point.
Yep. Yep.
So that when you pick it back up again, especially with fantasy, you're going to forget everything that's in your brain right now. I speak from like a fantasy writer myself. That you need to get everything on paper for fantasy because you're never going to remember it again.
It can happen. It can totally. Okay, but right now we have 10 more minutes to tempt this thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
it is that time. We apologize, Great Fry.
Do this.
But also, you should at some point write a fluffy rom-com because they're great.
You really should.
Yeah. Sorry, we're both romance writers, so we will push literally everybody into writing romance because
do it.
It's the best. We have to say it's the best because everybody hates us so much that we have to be our own fan club. Romance is amazing.
Romance writers. Okay, here's your prompt. Your villain is satisfied with an outcome. What is the outcome? Why are they satisfied?
Perfect. Go ahead and start, and we will see you guys in 10 minutes.
Okay. All right. So, and that was a wash for me because I was distracted by Chloe giving me more advice, which is good advice.
I'm sorry, we geeked out on stuff, and that's my bad.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm researching for like the first time ever. It's a very positive thing.
Oh, yes, you are reading for research. I have been yelling at her for years that she needs to read for research.
I am so deep into research right
now. Even again, if it's like really bad paranormal romance. But if you're going to write paranormal romance, which angel romance is certainly a subgenre of. You have to know what paranormal romance is.
Yeah.
And you have to know that even like the very top tier of paranormal romance is still completely awful, and I don't understand.
Awful in a binge-worthy way.
Yeah, you can't put this crap down, and I mean crap literally.
You can't. It's a drug.
Steaming pile of crap.
Hey! We are talking about a book series that I have devoured recently.
I lost an entire month of my life to that series, and as you've noticed, it's now like 2 years later, and I can still recite Why Butch.
So I'm just gonna say that's probably not as bad as you're saying, right? Like somebody's doing something right there. If I can do as right as she can, that would be amazing. And okay, so
we gotta make this crack work.
You gotta make it work. You gotta make it work. Okay, so if you are with us, I hope you got at least a few words done. And I think we should make like a pact that next week we come back and we've got solid work done on Nano, and no longer have to say that our projects are like flying off the rails. Like there need to be some cohesive story points happening.
I agree, and I know that is ridiculous coming from somebody who has already finished their novel, but also I ended up doing 0 editing today.
I'm sorry.
And worked on my cover. And that's bad. I just felt really pressured doing it right now because I'm just starting and I'm on it. So, yes, by this time next week, we are going to have solid progress. Yes. I will hopefully have several of my issues from the beginning fixed, and you will hopefully be
like way farther ahead. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm hoping to be like
farther ahead. That was not what I was hoping for in like the specifics, but that's okay.
That's about as specific as I get. I have a good week coming up for me. I've got my father-in-law is coming to stay with us next weekend, and that'll be like a whole like my husband and him will like go do things. So like I
give Ken and my mother alcohol and then slowly vanish into my room.
Something like that. I asked.
I live with an alcoholic and my mother is an alcoholic. It's great in a terrible way.
I don't like this is more of a car like manly man movie addiction, but yeah, but you get the point. I'm gonna disappear.
Mine's just like terrible. As usual, my life is just like a perversion of like normal life.
That's it. This is a good mantra. Grapevine, thank you for joining us today. I am with your mantra for next week. I'm gonna get my stuff together also, and we're gonna do it.
One day I'll just do a series of videos of me explaining my life, and that'll be how we make our millions of subscribers.
It could be a podcast, Chloe. I see it coming. All right.
Yeah, that's be my podcast. Okay, I'm sorry I did that ramble thing. We're gonna get out of here.
All right, folks. So good luck with this week, and we'll see you next week. And
get all the writing.
Get all the writing.
Words. Yeah.
Yeah. Happy writing. All right. Bye everyone.